Noah Lyles and Melissa Jefferson-Wooden are in New York City, no doubt, for the USA Championships. But while there, they pulled up to have a conversation with the Today Show. That discussion was almost entirely about World Ultimate Championships, not the USA's. And I watched it about 3 times to listen to what was actually happening. So yeah, we're about to have the real conversation. Because if you wanted to understand the disconnect between the track and field community, what's happening on the outside, like everyone else in the world who is not a trackety-track fan, we just got a pretty good glimpse about what the actual breakdowns are. Now, Noah Lyles and Melissa Jefferson-Wooden are there because they are Olympic gold medalists. To be clear, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden did not win an individual gold medal, at least not yet at the Games. But that's how they announce it. Worlds notwithstanding, like kick that to the curb. When they actually have discussions, it's all about World Ultimate. What is it? How do we hype people up for it? And the athletes are discussing, all the things that the trackety-track fans know, that World Championships has a limitation to what it is as a product. You only get 3 athletes per event, as far as like from specific nations. And some nations, like America in the sprints, normally miss out on sending other talented athletes to compete on that stage. So they're trying to tell us why World Ultimate is something different than the World Championships. Remember, this is on New York City. They're shooting this on the street. USA Championships is going on this weekend with both of them. And they're not saying much of anything about it. Like it's all the way at the end of the segment, they plug, oh yeah, you can catch them at the USA Championships being hosted in New York City. Now, when they say catch them, I guess they're not really worried about people buying tickets. As far as when they say catch them, I don't think they really clarified like where it's going to be available to be watched. Yeah, NBC owns the rights. They're the home of the Olympics. They might have, gave a plug depending on which segment you watched, because I'm seeing it online, not on cable. But here is the real conversation. Midway through, when they had a chance to make a left and talk about the USA Championship itself, they took a little bit of the World Ultimate discussion for about a minute and a half. And then they pivot to ask Noah Lyles. Like, at least ask him first. So, the games are coming up in 2028. And with LA on the horizon, like it's about less than 2 years away, how are you preparing for it? Noah almost took a step back. I know he's trying to be on his best behavior, but I could see the gears turning. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I doubt it. Because they're having a conversation about actual track and field competitions that would prepare you to be your best self by the time we get to LA 2028. They just had that. And the next question is, so what are you doing to get ready for the Games? At which point Noah's competitions like this, where we compete against the best and, iron sharpens iron. These are the things that come out of it. Then, and only then, do they pivot to, well, hey, we wish you the best and we look forward to seeing you, LA 2028 and, that push. And then, oh yeah, by the way, you can kiss them at USA's. They're shooting this on the street and I'm watching the faces of the people who are in, I guess, you can't call it the stands, on the street, looking over the fence. I'm not entirely sure how many of them were actual track fans, but the disconnect, if you ever didn't understand it, is this. People really believe track and field athletes basically go into a vault and come back out during the Olympic Games. And nothing that we're doing has convinced them otherwise. Allow me to explain. World Ultimate being hyped up makes the most sense because it's a 3-day event where Peacock, NBC, they own the rights to something that people might watch if they kind of knew that it was going to happen. I have no idea how much television coverage is actually going to be shown, not Peacock coverage, but actual cable coverage for those who still pay for cable anyway. Because Peacock, that's a limited group of people who have it. And even if you do, does it mean that the track and field events are going to show across your algorithm in any discernible way for you to watch it? You would have to go on a mission. Trust me, I would know. I have a Peacock subscription. If you actually want to watch track and field on that app, you gotta actually have it as a motivating factor when you click on it. You're gonna have to click over to the part that says sports. Then you're gonna have to navigate over beyond that to the track and field section, and then, and only then, can you find what you actually want to watch. Again, no shade, but just being honest. Noah Lyles and Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, both of them are trying to promote the sport, and they're doing it through the lens of World Ultimate, which people have no idea what it is. Keep in mind, they're comparing it to the World Championships, which assumes that people actually watch that part, which, newsflash, the sports community doesn't. Now, track and field is in a weird pocket. I'm going to say all the offensive parts out loud. I've said some of these things at other points on the channel, but this is a good moment for me to reiterate it. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. I'm Coach Rob, and if you really want to know what's going on with the fastest athletes in the world, then you are in the right place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, Just let me know in the comments section, because I try to read them all. When it comes to the Worlds, if you are an American, the way we perceive World Championships outside of perhaps the World Cup, because soccer for the men did it backwards, where they decided the World Cup is all that matters, and the Olympics so far down the street that they didn't even send the senior national teams to this most recent Olympics in 2024. That's not how men's soccer was played. They sent under 23 teams. So that's one thing. But almost everything else we do that's like a world championship of something, basketball is probably the easiest example. Nobody takes it that seriously. America doesn't even send our A team. We basically send a version of a JV and hope that's good enough to put a decent showing. They're not even really worried about winning as much as can we qualify for the Olympic Games or whatever else, but specifically the Games, because that's what people care about. We send a whole different roster to the Games. This past one, we sent the Avengers. People kind of think of track that way. All these other years, we ain't really sending our best. And then we have the Games. Oh yeah, this is the moment. They're talking about World Ultimate as an opportunity to bring all the best athletes together. And in my conversations with actual athletes on the circuit who competed at the Games and at the World Championships, there's essentially no difference competitively between what those two products are. You could argue, depending on the year, that the World Championships is even harder to win. The only thing that shifts is more casual sports fans are paying attention to one compared to the other. But the World Championships is a very limiting product. World Ultimate, at this point, because I know the athletes are taking it seriously to some degree, because it's the biggest thing they have on their calendar as far as money, prize money available. And in 2026, it's the biggest reputation builder you could have, even though nobody really has a clear understanding of what it is. There's no history yet to the World Ultimate Championships. But my honest take on what the World Ultimate Championships is that it might be the greatest thing on one end and the worst thing on the other to happen to the sport of track and field at the pro level. Because World Ultimate is just duplicating the whole World Championship concept, throwing more money at it, and trying to make the athletes happy by giving them a better experience, whatever that means. But all of that calls attention away from them going out there to be actual professionals, being in professional events that pay money, where they're sponsored and everybody else can be happy about it, but more importantly, they compete in races that actually matter. Because that trivializes everything else, which brings me back to the USA Championships, the same event that nobody really wanted to bring up when they were on camera. I'm not mad at Noah, and I'm not mad at Melissa. I'm not blaming them. They're just rolling with the spot as it's presented. But the USA Championships are starting to feel like a joke around this time. I'm going to try to take it seriously. I'm going to cover it on this channel. I'm even going to be there on the ground at some points. Hey, you might see me there depending on who you are. That's not the point. What I'm actually saying is that the USA Championships, because we have a lot of people who are scheduled to run, who are pulling out, everybody got their reasons as to why they're doing it. Some people are doing it because World Ultimate is what they're saving themselves for. I get it. In the ecosystem that is this sport, I can get why an elite athlete, somebody who already had medals on the world stage, might decide to pull out. Somebody else who's not that, to a much lesser degree, I don't understand why they're pulling out. But if you think World Ultimate is the goal, then fine. If you really think this thing does not contribute to getting you there. But USA Championships is about as good as it's going to get to promote a pro track product in America. The only things that we actually have are the Prefontaine, some random USATF Tour events now, that's what we're calling them, LA Grand Prix, the Lone Star Grand Prix, USA Championships itself, and that's about it. For the professionals, that's the only thing we got. Because the USA Championships is essentially a dry run for the Olympic trials, it makes it a big event whenever it comes around. You can say I am a national champion if you win in those events. The amount of names that I've seen pull out so far, I'm just going entirely off head. Rod Benjamin was going to run the 400, then he decided, not doing it. Christian Coleman was written down for the 200. He was on paper supposed to get second behind Noah Lyles, and then he decided he's not going to run. Hey, it is what it is. We just heard that Jordan Anthony is not going to run in the 100 or the 200. He's pulling out. We just saw him on the Diamond League, but we ain't going to see him here. We're doing a USA Championship. Somebody's going to go out there and run. They're supposed to be the fastest people that we have in America competing. But if we're being honest, the fastest, the best throwers, the best jumpers, all of it, in theory. Go look at those fields. Not blaming the athletes who are showing up. I'm specifically talking about the ones who are not. And yes, I'm focusing a lot of energy right now on some of the sprinting events. Even Messiah Russell's not coming. Gabby Thomas isn't coming. This list keeps on going. We're not really going to get a championship that's going to inspire a whole lot of attention, and maybe that's why they skipped past it. But they're in New York City, and you would assume they would want to promote it. This is an event that doesn't come to New York on a regular. As far as I know, it's never been there. And trust me, I would know. I'm from New York City, born and raised. What I'm trying to point out is the general public really thinks that track athletes go into a vault and then pop back up at the games. Nothing that we do that has world something on it will ever change that. And that is a problem that American athletes specifically are going to face. Everybody else around the world doesn't feel it the same way. But that also means they have way more infrastructure, depending on who you are, for their national program to professionalize them. USATF doesn't have a reason to do that. They just kind of put on events, let the cream rise to the top, and if you happen to win these events, then they send you over. It feels like Noah Lyles is a part of Team USA because he's consistently winning. But he's not really on a team. He's just an individual who's representing by earning the right to do so over and over and over again. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden wasn't representing for Team USA in 2023 because she didn't qualify to do so. That's how it works. The best athletes are our Avengers, the world beaters. It feels like they're Team USA because they're actually beating the world. That's the thing about America. You can't just be one of the best in the world. Don't nobody care about you making a final. That don't make you special. Over here, the way we do things in America, you're only going to be noticed even a little bit if you can figure out how to win medals, specifically gold ones. That's the difference between being Messiah Russell and Grace Stark. One has a gold medal at the Olympic Games, the other one doesn't. I mean, one has a medal at a world championship in the 100 hurdles, but nobody was really paying attention, and that medal still isn't gold. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden has gold medals, plural, individually at the world championships, but they left that entirely off the resume when they're introducing her to the general public. They just focus on the Olympics, and because she was on a relay that allowed them to call her a gold medalist, they announce it. This is where we're starting negotiations. People kind of know this part, but you gotta see how far it runs. Because when given an opportunity to, promote the USA Championships in New York City, they didn't do it. NBC decided this right here really isn't a product worth putting any degree of effort. Keep in mind, the Today Show, if you go to their YouTube account, has like 5 million subscribers. But subscribers are just a vanity number on this platform at this time. And as a result, if you look at videos and kind of like what gets watched, they had a video from like a day ago with Kevin Hart and a co-star from a movie. That one now it's climbing towards 400K views for a segment. Compare that to whatever this segment is going to do, it's going to be night and day. I mean, looks like it's doing better than some of the other segments, but my point is well taken. NBC is doing a spot. I support that they're doing it. The athletes did the best that they could. They answered the questions that were provided. But if you ever wanted to know the disconnect between our community and everybody else, it is this. They don't care. They don't care about anything. They only care about the games. But you can't 100% blame them if you don't give people much of anything else to watch. That right there is the real problem. Because you can ask them to watch a World Ultimate all they want. But with the crazy hours it's going to be between that and Budapest, Hungary, like when it's actually going to air in America if you want to see it live. Because trust me, I'm going to revolve my schedule around it to make sure I'm seeing it so I can talk to you about it. But if you're not those people, like if you're not us, the trackety-track fans, for that matter, if you made it this far into the video, I already know you're a real one, so shout out to you. But if you're not us, you're not going to know. No amount of, the ultimate star or, emceeing the event, like that might be fun for the athletes to do. But World Ultimate could be the best thing and the worst thing for the track community because it can make the athletes, specifically the ones at the top, just a little bit more comfortable. Comfortable enough where they don't do anything that actually rocks with the format, messes with the system. Because if you really want to be a pro, we're going to have to do what other athletes have told us to do. I've been listening to other sports communities and when they actually have moments to talk about track. It was Gilbert Arenas, former NBA player, doing his podcast and all of that now. He said it to Noah Lyles specifically in regards to him and Anthony Edwards and getting a signature shoe with Adidas and everything else. And his conversation was as follows. Noah, we know your talent. Nobody's doubting that. We saw you at the games. But he points out, what you really need to do is get you a league. Someplace where we know where we're going to see you, where we can clock it. Where from that point on, we can put our mind to say, we're going to watch him do his thing in that league. When they say the word league, they mean league by the designation that they understand it, where everything is a consequence. Every competition you do, that's the word. Every competition you do is a competition of consequence. There is no warm-up races on the way to the real ones. These are all real races. So if you go stinging up the joint in your first races of the season, you're going to have a whole lot of catching up to do, if that's even possible, to put you in a position to actually thrive later on. But that's not what we're doing. I'm not blaming Noah and I'm not blaming Melissa. Neither of them have been disappointing us when they go out to compete over the past few years. Noah for the entirety of his career for the most part. Like, he'd been here for a while and he'd really never disappointed us. We just wish we had more opportunity to see him. And he'd be out here. It's just that the general sports community isn't paying attention. It's not his fault. He didn't create the system. But the Today Show, at least, yes, today, like this exact moment in history, put it all on Front Street, where you could be on an interview to promote an actual track event that we call a World Ultimate Championship. And right after you talk about it, they ask you, so what are you doing to prepare for the games? I rest my case. And that's that. The sport of track and field is not just about running fast. It's about doing it over and over and over again. That is how you let everyone else know that fast is a lifestyle. Get Fast as a Lifestyle track and field gear as a part of the training collection at CoachRobTrack.com, or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel so that I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.